It's time to sit back and check out the RCWR show with Lee Sanders. Get fun, in-depth coverage and analysis from the latest in professional wrestling in AEW, WWE, NWA, Impact Wrestling, or the world of entertainment. From hit TV shows to your favorite sports like the NBA or NFL. All things music, movies, and beyond, while trying to make sense of this crazy world we live in. All while keeping it honest, insightful, and interactive since 2011. And now your hosts, live from the nation's capital of Washington, D.C., Lee Sanders.
Hey, good kind people. What is going on? Covering the latest in all things wrestling, entertainment, and beyond. Since 2011, you're checking out the RCWR show. 411mania.com reporter and columnist Lee Sanders here. Thank you guys so much for tuning in this Wednesday night of August 10th, 2022. Yo, our man has returned, the voice of the voiceless, the official AEW World Heavyweight Champion. He is the one, the only CM Punk. CM Punk making his return at this week's AEW Dynamite Quake by the Lake edition. I don't blame some of you guys that maybe had slept on this episode. Maybe you kind of figured, status quo, ain't really been banging too good these AEW Dynamites past couple of weeks. I think I might sit this one out. No, you know what? They actually did pretty damn good. My biggest takeaway, and this is actually important because I'm just trying to make sure wifey's okay, so give me a second here. Okay, great. Yeah, wifey had been working pretty late. She's just now make sure she's all right. But no, one of my biggest takeaways from this week's AEW Dynamite is the fact that slowly but surely the AEW roster, when you just think about the major stars that's pretty much been carrying the workload of this company, right? And thus, as a result, everybody else is able to eat. Everybody else is able to get in theirs and all that. Tony Khan and crew, they are pretty much now back at full strength. You could maybe make an argument that, you know what, not for nothing, they still don't have Kenny Omega. Well, look, all things considered, everything that's been going on with Kenny Omega's health that we've come to learn about within recent months, Kenny Omega can stay gone as long as he wants at this point. I'm sure most of you guys would share the same sentiments as me, which is, you know what, come back when you're definitely at 100% rather than close to 100%. You feel where I'm coming from? Because health above all else, right? Health above all else. Got to take care of yourself. Got to take care of your mind, your body, your soul. All that comes first. And, right, at this point, Kenny Omega could decide, you know what, I'll just come back in 2023. And honestly, I think fans would be all right with that. It would suck, but when you just look at where AEW is right now in regards to their current strength, right? I mean, just rewind it back a couple of months ago and everything, it's like night and day now. So I'm very ecstatic to see that we got the return of CM Punk, the true AEW World Heavyweight Champion. True story, you guys can't really see as the way I've got the template and everything set up here, but especially with that Quake by the Lake text at the bottom there. But if I were to just sit up for just a little bit, so true story. So this CM Punk shirt that I'm pushing right now, y'all have seen me, long-time listeners, you all have seen me wear this off and on over the years. So true story, I'm seeing that there's about 10 minutes left of tonight's Dynamite, and I go, oh, what shirt am I going to put on for tonight? What do I feel like? And I'm just going through the shirts. I saw a Bloodline shirt. I'm going, I'm not feeling Bloodline tonight. Like, what else? Jake the Snake Roberts. I'm not feeling. And something just said, CM Punk. I'm like, yeah, sure, what the hell? Why not? CM Punk, sure, what the hell? So I put this CM Punk shirt on 10 minutes before Dynamite had went off the air. I'm in the other room. I've got the audio playing in the background because I'm pretty much getting a really good idea how the match is going to end and everything between Ambrose and Chris Jericho and everything. Great fucking main event match, by the way, for the AEW Interim World Championship. But next thing I know, like, I see the finish for Jericho versus Moxley. I'm like, okay, all right, yep, I'm good. I'm satisfied. Go back into the other room, getting the stream ready and everything. I'm just taking my time. I'm playing with my dogs. Next thing I know, and at this point, I already have the CM Punk shirt on, right? Next thing I know, I hear the fucking CM Punk music. I'm going, the fuck? I come check into the other room. I check out one room. I go back into the other room, and then I see the man himself, grizzled-looking, wise vet CM Punk, coming down there. First thing that I noticed, well, two things that I noticed, but the first thing that I noticed was, goddamn, my man looks very well rested. I sadly did not get a chance to see, because I know he participated, I don't know which con it was. I don't know which Comic-Con event it was, but I know he had recently participated in a Comic-Con panel. I sadly did not go out of my way to check out pictures, videos. I didn't see any of that stuff because I was sidetracked with some other stuff. But I did check out transcript highlights of some of the things that CM Punk was saying. And remember, tying it back to AEW news and all, and tonight's Dynamite, remember, one of the last things that we had heard from CM Punk, if you guys recall, one of our very own members of the 411mania.com staff was actually at the, I'm pretty sure it was the San Diego Comic-Con that I'm really starting to think about it. I'm pretty sure it was the San Diego Comic-Con that AEW, CM Punk, Jay Cargill, I think a couple of others did a panel and everything. And one of our very own members, staff writers from 411mania.com, they actually were there doing coverage of certain aspects there. And they participated in the AEW Q&A panel and all. And they had a chance to talk to CM Punk and ask him straight up, yo, health-wise, what's going on with you? What's the status of your foot and everything? And leading up to this happened within the same week. And we had talked about this, and I remember saying to you guys, kind of interesting what's going on with this conflicted information that we're getting. Because when the question of Punk's health came about, Tony Khan jumped out there and he said, oh, yeah, well, I'm hoping he's definitely going to be back by All Out. We'll have to wait and see how it goes. But, I'm paraphrasing, but, yeah, way it's looking, All Out. I'm very excited. And you're going, whoa. So Khan is saying CM Punk is perhaps going to be back in time for All Out? Okay. But then just a couple of days later, you go to that fucking Comic-Con, where one of our very own from the site had asked CM Punk, yo, what's And CM Punk had said flat out, if you guys remember from what I recited, CM Punk had said, hey, well, as far as, what's going on with my health and everything, timeline, I'm not going to get into those specifics because one minute I'm talking to my doctor, I'm being told one thing. I'm talking to my physical therapist, and I'm being told a different thing. So you know what? Honestly, at this point, what we're doing is we're taking it day to day. And he was walking around with a boot on. Remember that. He's walking around with a boot for that injured foot. And people were talking about how he was grimacing and, a little bit sluggish, kind of taking his time moving around, right? And then you see what we got tonight with CM Punk running down the fucking ramp, beating the holy crap out of the Jazz members, right? Well, brother looked like he's 100%. Punk, you got to give it to CM Punk. He's trying to do his very best to do the fucking game of kayfabe when it's all said and done. Khan can definitely learn a thing or two about kayfabe and playing up to it more. There was another hiccup that went down this week where Tony Khan, I think the word is out. He tried to do a little bit of damage control. We'll talk a lot more about that later on in the show. But the very first thing I noticed with CM Punk tonight, he looked very well rested. Second thing I noticed tonight was Punk seemed to have been hitting the weights. He's got more bulk. He not in a muscular type of, right? I don't want you guys thinking a Bobby Lashley type of format or some shit like that. But, his form this go round, it seems to be more in line with, what we recall of him. I'm trying to think of a particular era for CM Punk. He definitely looks slightly bulkier than his WWE run, towards the end, right? Like those final 2 years that we were CM Punk, he definitely looks bulkier than that image, if you guys can recall it, right? He looks more bulkier than that. Very fit. I can't wait to see what happens, when he takes the shirt off, just, what's been going on with him. But I mean, the one thing you notice off the break, even with the shirt on, and sure, you could say, the shirt, though, it was probably a medium. And yeah, that might be true. But you can tell when somebody's been doing something because you'll notice it off the break. Me being somebody that at one point had studied a lot of health, nutrition, fitness, lift weights and all that back in the day. First thing that I noticed was, Punk's got like shoulders. His shoulders has gotten a little bulkier, and then the area up here, I always forget what you call that area up here, that's connected to the neck, that seemed to be a little bit more defined. I definitely noticed his biceps, his triceps definitely gave it all away. So it's nice to see that while brother has been away, he's pretty much been hitting the fucking gym and all that good shit. So good shit, man, good shit. Great seeing CM Punk back. AEW pretty much now at full strength. Great timing, too, as we got that all-out event that's going to be coming up in the next couple of weeks. I'm looking forward to checking that bad boy out. But, man, what a great, strong finish to AEW Dynamite where we had got... Hey, let's not just glance over that main event, by the way, right? I mean, there was so much that was going on there because CM Punk was just like... an extra piece of dessert after the fact, right? You've already had dessert, but now you're getting like a bonus piece of dessert, if you will, right? Hey, we know you just love chocolate cake, and somebody had got this cake and they didn't want it, they didn't touch it. Would you like this cake? Like, yeah, yeah. It was kind of like that. But what a great main event match between Jon Moxley and Lionheart, Chris Jericho. You're hearing the stuff about Lionheart, Chris Jericho, and you're going, okay. And I would imagine that for the younger wrestling fan, they're probably going, I don't really. And hopefully they did their YouTube research and all that to find out, okay, what's going on with this Lionheart, right? Hopefully they did. But I tell you what, it was great seeing Chris Jericho come out there with the retro attire, even if it was just for one night only. I I geeked out. I geeked out fucking big time. He came out to the Lionheart music and everything. Because I'm going, okay, so what is he going to come out to? It's like, there's no way this guy can come out to the fucking Judas song, right? It's like Moxley specifically said, I want the Lionheart Chris Jericho. It's like, that's the version I want. Either you bring him or you just like, don't even show up, because otherwise I'm going to eat your ass alive, dude. I'm going to eat your ass alive. And we get the full Lionheart entrance and all. And one of the first things that I was thinking about, I see some of you guys were thinking about it as well, but one of the first things that I thought about was, man, this attire of his, okay, it's definitely Lionheart, but my question was, is it the Lionheart attire? And I had to do some digging around, because one of the first memories that I had recalled was wait a minute now, when was the last time I can remember seeing Lionheart Chris Jericho? And I had to rewind it back in my head. I had to rewind it back to 2005's ECW One Night Stand pay-per-view event where Chris Jericho had took on Lance Storm one-on-one. So shout out if you remember that. So I'm going, okay, yeah, he was Lionheart around that era for sure. So I'm trying to picture the attire, and I'm going, I'm pretty sure that attire is almost identical to what Jericho was pushing tonight. So I did some digging around and everything, and if you guys can bear with me a second, I'm actually going to share screen with you guys the image I took. Now, you may see this get recycled, letting you know right now. You may see what I'm getting ready to show you be recycled from a few other people on social media. Just make a mental note that I created this collage image that you all are about to see. So hopefully credit will be given where credit is due. But that's the thing with social media. Everybody likes to try to pass something off as their own and everything. But, I love seeing this retro attire by fucking Jericho. And then also, I couldn't help but just say, man, kudos to Chris Jericho. Seriously, I know I've been on this show off and on these past several months, and I've given him mad fucking props for the physical transformation he's been able to do with himself. But no, seriously, we really need to give this guy his fucking props, man. I'm sure that it probably had stung him personally, going back to that time when AEW, I think it was Dynamite that had came on, or maybe it was Rampage, but I remember there was an AEW show that had came on after NBA on TNT action. And I just remember how the fans were ripping Chris Jericho a new you-know-what. I mean, they were ripping his ass off. And, I mean, was he not in the best of shape? No, he was not. No, he was not. And I don't know if it was maybe that night where he said, okay, you know what, I need to start fucking just little by little. Because once you decide, I think anybody that has struggled with weight, I mean, I definitely have no problem lifting my hand up and saying, especially since I'm a type 2 diabetic and all, I have no problem saying that it can definitely be a struggle losing weight. Like, the minute that you decide you want to lose weight, it's not, contrary to how some people may feel, right? The false impression that, it's easy. You just wake up and you can stop this, you can stop it. It's not. It is a process. You're definitely learning trial and error as you fucking go and everything. And it took Jericho some months, but he was able to fucking slim up big time. And look at this right here. Here's the collage here that I had made. Right, so we'll go, and for those of you that are visually impaired, those of you that are going to be checking this out for on demand and on the downloads, I'll give you guys the play-by-play here for you all here. So we've got this nice collage going on. Let me just center it a little better for you guys. There you go. I think we can, just leave it right there. All right, so starting from the top left-hand corner, right, there's the Jericho that we had got tonight in his Lionheart attire. And then, as you can see, the image to the right, top right, there is the ECW One Night Stand 2005 attire. So obviously the tights are different. Forgive me in advance. I'm just enjoying a quick sip of my tea here. So obviously the spandex is different. But the jacket, from what I was able to see and establish, the jacket, and I would be shocked to hear this otherwise, but the jacket appears to be the same jacket. Unless Jericho tells us otherwise, and I'm definitely, because I'm very, very curious, I will definitely ask him before I go to bed tonight. I'll definitely ask him. So if you're following me on Twitter at the RCWR show, he seems to be more active on Twitter than his other social media platforms with folks. And he's actually responded to me a couple of times publicly, like some of the stuff I've had shared and all that. So I'm hoping I can definitely get an answer from him. But I almost feel like 90% certain that that vest is the actual vest. Again, the spandex is definitely different, but the vest itself definitely looks like the original itself. And then as you can see with the bottom left, there's the front. And then pretty much, so he's aged pretty good. You got to give him props. He's definitely aged very, very good here. Great main event match, though, between him and Moxley. Oh, my God. That thing was a fucking classic banger of a match. I loved it. I loved it on so many levels, man. I love the level of brutality that was involved in that match for what it was worth. And I loved how sick and sadistic our man fucking Jon Moxley had got there with Jericho. Actually, no. Yeah, vice versa. Let's actually switch that up. Jericho on Moxley, because I remember Jericho had struck first as far as the brutality level goes, right? He actually yanked on the earring of Moxley. And when I say yank, it just wasn't one of those nice little tugs. He pretty much had teased it in front of the fans. And then he just he legit tore that ring out of Moxley's ear. And the fans right on fucking cue, once they saw what went down, they're trying to process it. And you got Jericho actually showing off the ring to the fans. He's taking his time and he's showing the ring and everything. And you see Moxley's ear, his left earlobe, and it is just bleeding profusely. And you're going, holy shit, yeah, he actually did that, didn't he? And I just love the fans right on fucking cue. You sick fuck. You sick fuck. I loved it. I ate it up. That was just solid fucking good shit right there. Loved it. I got to give Tony Khan and crew props where props is definitely due. One of the criticisms that I and some of you had shared publicly is, man, every single time we get to these AEW TV shows, we're seeing pretty much in every other match somebody bleeding and everything. And man, by the time we get to a main event match, a match of great significant importance, right? Okay, we've seen so many bloody fucking spots. We've pretty much become numb at this point. And it's kind of like, so what else you got, right? It's kind of like one of those type of deals. And, Tony Khan and crew, got to give them a lot of props. They've done their best to scale back on how often you see all that bleeding going down and everything. And where it counted the most, god damn, did they make it count right here. Amazing match. Jericho, it seemed like he had found the fountain of youth in his match against Moxley tonight. It seemed like if only for just, 10, 15 minutes, we got a Jericho that really fucking, let's be honest. We've seen a Jericho in AEW as of late that pretty much, I'm just going to phone it in. I'm just going to do the basic shit. And you know what? I'm more of a showman. I'm more of an entertainer. So I'll just mainly rely on my promo stuff. And, right, we've seen a Jericho that has kind of been a bit subdued, if you will, right? A little bit more laid back, a little bit more reserved. But this performance that Jericho had put out there, and look, I don't want to just highlight only this one, let's not also forget what Jericho had did at the last pay-per-view and all that, and some key themed editions of AEW Dynamite. Jericho's quality of work has definitely stepped up within recent weeks, but when you really home in on this match that he had against Moxley, you're going, well, you know what? Not for nothing, but just based off everything I've seen with Jericho up till now, I wasn't expecting for Jericho to have this level of athleticism, this level of in-ring showmanship, right? I mean, he really was. It was like watching vintage Jericho. It really was. So much more than just a couple of, moves, signature moves here and there. He really fucking rose to the occasion, and for that, you just definitely gotta give them some mad fucking props there. Definitely some mad fucking props there. Yeah, Hager, Guevara coming out to the ring afterwards. By the way, that was a nice spot that went down with Sammy Guevara, who was deep in the crowd, and somehow he was able to fling a bat. He kind of overshot it a little bit. Yeah, matter of fact, let me go into my notes here, see where Sammy Guevara had kicked into play. Because I remember there was a spot where Sammy was in the fucking crowd, and he threw a fucking bat. Yeah, Jericho had managed to get a hold of the bat, but somehow that bat, it seemed like it was overshot the way Sammy had threw it and everything. And Jericho had clocked Moxley over the head with that bad boy, tried to go in for the cover, and it was a near fall. You're going, shit, what the hell? Moxley coming out of nowhere, getting a surprise roll up on Jericho. That was a damn near fall as well. Jericho had sent Moxley into an exposed turnbuckle. Immediately came right back around, if I recall, did the Judas effect. At that point, you're going, well, shit, this definitely has to be it, right? Like, surely this is definitely it. Somehow, Moxley kicking out of that bad boy. And from there, Jericho had grabbed the title. He tried to go for a headshot on Moxley. Moxley had managed to move. And then he got a sleeper onto Jericho. Turned that into a bulldog. Jericho now on one knee. And then from there, I remember there was a lion tamer. Somehow there was a lion tamer that was attempted there. Jericho just busting open blood like a fucking packet of ocean spray or a bottle of ocean spray. This was gory as fuck. But you know what? I was okay with this, right? Because this wasn't like... It wasn't like you were watching a GCW match, right? Some of those GCW matches, you just go, right? But then you've seen some crazier shit online as far as hardcore matches go, and you're just a little bit nauseous and everything. But yeah, I remember Moxley had got in a sleeper, applied leg scissors and all that. Moxley hooking the arm, clinching that bad boy big time. Jericho struggling to get out and everything. Eventually, Jericho was tapping out. Like I said, afterwards, post-match, Hager, Guevara, they come out there. They're attacking Moxley. Jericho holds up the championship in the air. Claudio comes out there. Ortiz, Wheeler Yuta, Eddie Kingston. All right, so it's just like this numbers game all of a sudden. Everything is just going batshit fucking crazy. And then you got Garcia, Parker, Menard. They come out there looking to even up the odds. And then next thing you know, what is it? Moxley, once again, numbers game. Blackpool Combat Club wasn't looking good for them. Once again, Jazz having their hands on Moxley, getting ready to lay it heavy into him. And then you hear the music of CM Punk. CM Punk pretty much coming over there, clotheslining the hell out of Parker, taking care of Garcia. Sammy tried to launch himself from over the top rope onto CM Punk, and CM Punk just played a nice game of possum. He's like, yeah, and then he quickly just backs away. Guevara just goes crashing onto the fucking canvas. It was badass. Punk rolling into the ring, sees Jericho. Jericho tries to come at him, tries to hit him with the championship. Punk manages to duck that bad boy, clotheslines Jericho to the outside. So Jazz licking their wounds, where Moxley, he pretty much knows what's going on. I love seeing that hesitancy by Moxley as he's getting up and he's got that interim championship. He knows CM Punk is behind him. And he just turns around and you've got that meeting of the minds there as two of these guys are staring each other down. And just when you think that, okay, maybe we're going to see some dab or maybe we're going to, right? Nah. Moxley pretty much threw up the middle finger at CM Punk, gave him a nice shoulder as he walks his way out into the arms of his Blackpool Combat Club members. As CM Punk just looked on, kind of, okay, I see how it is. Because now you just know, and look, rightfully so, right? Moxley, I mean, you're following this storyline. Moxley has been busting his ass week in, week out, month in, month out so far as the AEW interim champion. And yeah, all of a sudden, he's supposed to just roll out the fucking red carpet for the return of, right? Nah, it's not, no. So, look, it's going to be great. And you just know that at this point, all things are going to come colliding at AEW All Out. You definitely got to have a true main event match for that pay-per-view. And it's safe to say Moxley, Punk, right? It's safe to say it's definitely going to be going down. But then you also can't help but wonder, yeah, are we really going to get that match, though, at All Out? Or is the Jericho Appreciation Society going to have something to say in regards to that? Could Jericho somehow, between now and the road to All Out, could Jericho maybe make his presence felt? And is it possible that somehow it might become a three-way, right? You guys sound off on that. Let me know what you think. Would you have no problem seeing a three-way there? Or no, you actually want to see a one-on-one crowning of an AEW Undisputed Champion? For me personally, you want to ask me my thoughts, I'm going for the latter. I want to see an undisputed AEW World Heavyweight Champion. But God damn, what a great strong finish there. Great storytelling in that main event. Main event went 22 minutes long, if not a little bit more. So nice, good, fine storytelling. Because I remember when they were doing the entrances, I think it was almost the 30-minute mark. And you're going, okay, well, this is actually pretty good. So there's enough time to let this match really breathe and everything. Okay, good. By the way, how y'all doing tonight? I hope you guys are having a fantastic week so far. Hump Day right around, Hump Day is here. But the weekend is what I was thinking, actually, is right around the corner and everything. So hopefully you guys are doing good. And as I always try to remind you guys during this time of the season, do your best to stay hydrated. Make sure your furry little animals are staying hydrated as well. Check in on the elderly. Make sure they're definitely doing their best to stay cool during this hot time of the year, man. Hot time of the year. So, talk about some other stuff that had went down with Dynamite tonight. Coffin match between Darby Allin, Brody King. Darby Allin getting the victory here. You know what? Nice, good, strong-ass opener for Dynamite. I definitely got to give him fucking props. You know what? Got to say something else, too. This was a coffin match, but I love the way this match was booked from this standpoint. You're looking at this match and you're going, God, hopefully these guys aren't going to make their entrances and then get into the ring, standing across from each other, and then ding, 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 and the match. No. Like, if anything, you're going, okay, the story that has pretty much been told here so far, the animosity, the level of hatred that exists between these two men. Nah, man, this just needs to be balls to the walls, all out freaking crazy. And I like that Brody King made his entrance first. And then when it came to Darby Allin, Darby did not even fucking really wait for the formalities. He didn't do his grand entrance. He just pretty much came from literally right behind Brody King, skateboard in hand and everything, took it to the forehead of Brody King, busted Brody King wide open. Why? Because it wasn't just a skateboard shot to the head. It wasn't just any old skateboard shot to the head. No. Darby Allin was very particular about the way he designed his skateboard for this match, and he pretty much had glued little thumbtacks to his skateboard, and he glued them in a way so that the spiky parts would be on the outside, right? And so, man, that was just boom, just busted him open right there. You're going, okay, all right, so this is how we're pretty much going to do this. Okay, all right, nice. So I love the way that they had Darby booked in this one. It was rather smart, the way that they did this. Wasn't really a fan of the ad break that we got in there, even if it was a case where we had picture-in-picture. Wasn't really a fan of that. I've gotten to a point now where it's like, man, if I got to try to find my glasses to see what's going on in the picture, I'm just going to go on ahead, skip it, and I'll just wait till the shit blows back up on full fucking screen. I wish we could just do something along the lines of first 15 minutes, first 20 minutes, commercial free. I think that would make a little bit more sense to do, but, you know, hey, it is what it is. At one point, the lights had went out, and they came right as Darby was in the ring with a table. He was looking to try to do a suicide dive, but the lights had went out. And when it did, you're kind of going, okay, what's going to happen right here? And not sure where you all's mindset was, but I'm looking at this particular moment going, well, is it possible Miro might make his presence felt? Because after all, we have seen House of Black's Malachi try to make a nice campaign pitch for why Miro should consider joining the House of Black, right? But when the lights come on, we see that Malachi's there, Buddy Matthews is there, so you're going, oh shit, it's a numbers game right here. This does not look good for Darby Allin here. Like, what the hell is going on? And yeah, there was a nice little numbers game that was going on here for a nice little bit. The fans were chanting, "We want Sting," and to that point, you're going, "Yeah, well, exactly where is fucking Sting? What's going on?" And finally, we see this nice little spot where Brody, I think Brody and Darby, I think they might have still been going at it, but Buddy had left the ring, and I guess he was trying to get the casket ready and everything. He opens it up, and Sting is just pretty much right there, just laying there chilling. Comes out of that bad boy, bat in hand, clocks the hell out of Murphy, and the face paint, right? He's got one side of his face paint where pretty much Malachi Black sprayed that black mist, right? So I'd like that Sting had put that nice little attention in there. Eventually, Sting, Malachi, they meet up in the ring. Once again, we get a situation here where you call it admiration, call it whatever, but Malachi Black don't want no piece of Sting as he fucking rolled out, and Sting just looked on. So I love this. This follows up to what we were talking about a couple of weeks ago, where I remember I was saying to you guys, man, I'm most curious what direction we're going here with Sting and Darby Allin, especially with the House of Black. Is it possible that Sting may cross over to the dark side here, or what? Is it possible that maybe some type of level of animosity, slight hatred for Darby Allin will manifest as a result of that black mist that was sprayed onto him by Malachi? Because that's always pretty much been the calling card. Whoever Malachi sprays with that black evil mist, something manifests from within that individual, right? So you're kind of wondering if that maybe is going to, or because Sting is such a holy man, right? The power of the light, right? Did not mean for that to rhyme, by the way. Right? You just can't help but wonder that. So, Darby Allin a little bit later on was able to connect with a suicide dive from the outside. Sting and Black, like I said, they were looking at each other face to face, and Black didn't want any peace, so he pretty much rolled out. Brody sends Darby into the corner of the barricade. Then he body slams him onto some steps. Brody's looking to end this once and for all. He walks up to the steps with Darby on his shoulders. Darby holds on to the ropes, manages to wiggle his way out, grabs onto a chain, wraps it around his fist, swings at the face of Brody. Darby then chokes Brody up with that chain. So basically, think back to that Royale match that we had some weeks back, and remember how Brody had won when it was pretty much down to him and Darby. Well, this was almost like a tooth for tooth, an eye for an eye, basically, right? But this go around, you've got Darby with the chain pretty much around Brody's neck, all that shit. And I mean, he was just, oh man, he had Brody just right where he wanted him, and he was not letting go for nothing until he was sure Big Man was passed out. And Big Man was passed out. He released his hold, and Brody King just perfectly, it was like a game of fucking bowling. Brody just perfectly falls into the coffin, closes. That's all she wrote. Darby Allin picking up the win in this coffin match. Yeah, you know, if I had one little, Brody was bleeding a little bit too much for me, for my liking. Yeah, and again, I couldn't help but just say, you know, these guys, they can't really control the level of blood that they know some of the spots that's right. Obviously, they've planned some of these, so but at the same time, they can't control how much blood is gonna right. But all I could think about was, hey, save some of that for the main event. The guys in the main event need the color, you know, right? But all that considered, good match when it's all said and done. Let's see from there. Tornado tag match. Andrade El Idolo and Rush going up against the Lucha Brothers. Andrade El Idolo, Rush getting the victory here. About 14 minutes and some change right here. Okay tag match, but I think where I'm starting to become a little bit, you know, every time we fucking turn around, anytime the Lucha Brothers are like locking it up with these guys, there's always some type of shenanigans going down with the mask. And it's like, okay, so you already know what Andrade and Rush is all about, or at least Andrade. You already know what he's about. You would think by now that, okay, look, in the event that they try to do some shenanigans and they try to figure out a way to get our mask off, we're going to be able to counter because we're going to have this under our mask, be it makeup or another mask. Or so, you know, fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, you know, 3 times, it's like I'm just a dumbass, right? And so that's where it was a good match, but I really could have done without the shenanigans once again with the mask. That's just me personally, but I did enjoy this tag match for what it was worth. I love that Rush is getting more TV time. I definitely love that Andrade is getting more TV time as well. All things considered, Andrade has been on a roll long before. Make no mistake about it now. Andrade has been on a roll match quality wise way before he even did the stuff there with his father-in-law, Ric Flair, going up against Jay Lethal and Jeff Jarrett. Way before that shit, right? But it's nice to see that the streak, it is definitely continuing and all that. Young Bucks, let's go there. Young Bucks, meanwhile, they had went backstage. They had Brandon Cutler on camera, as they pretty much had wanted to document what was about to go down, as they went into a locker room where Hangman Page was chilling with the Dark Order. And, you know, they pretty much had said to him, hey, look, you know, appreciate you having our back from last week. Really meant a lot to us and everything. You know, really started thinking about it. And, you know, all things considered, past several months, we've treated you like shit. You know, it's wrong when it's all said and done. You know, when it counted the most and you had finally became the AEW World Heavyweight Champion, if there was ever a time to give you your props, give you your flowers, you definitely should have got them. And despite everything that had went down with all of us up until that point, we really should have been the bigger men. We should have came out there and we should have congratulated you because you had achieved your dream. You had became a superstar. As a result, you went to that next level career-wise, and we didn't do that, and we humbly apologize and everything. And you're going, okay, all right, they're milking it. They're milking it for what it's worth. Okay, all right, let's get to the punchline here. What do you want, Bucks? What do you want? Right? There's got to be something, right? Sure enough, there was a punchline. Bucks pretty much wanted for Hangman to strongly consider and accept being their third tag partner for this trios tag tournament. Hangman Page, hey, guys, I kind of figured that that's probably mommy coming in. Don't worry, that's Chloe, just her way of, hey, what she's going to investigate. That's just mommy finally coming in. But Hangman Page, I kind of figured you guys were gonna approach me and you were gonna pitch this to me and everything. And he said, look, appreciate the offer, really, but going back to what you had said before, when I had became the AEW World Heavyweight Champion, and how you should have came up to me backstage and congratulated me, but you didn't. Well, you know what? Not for nothing, but these guys, Dark Order, they were backstage. Despite everything, they were backstage. They waited for me. They congratulated me. So, you know what? Sorry, but thanks. No thanks. Appreciate the offer. But, yeah, no. So, Bucks, they pretty much looked on. Like, okay, well, it's cool. We respect that. We definitely respect that. It is what it is. So, they saw themselves out. Brandon Cutler letting the Bucks know, hey, as far as a third band goes, and they pretty much told him to shut up after that. So, kind of, look, on the one hand, it comes off a little bipolar. It really, really does. On the one hand, it comes off a little bipolar. I'll explain why. It's bipolar from this standpoint. Last week, was it not? We just saw the UE, led by Adam Cole, baby, orchestrate a beatdown on the Bucks. Okay? And the message that Cole had to the Bucks, you guys aren't going to be participating in the trios tournament because you guys are going to be injured. And you're going, right? And you saw how that had played out. Well, obviously, you've got the Bucks that they must have not been severely that injured because the Bucks are trying to recruit Hangman, right? So it just, I was a little bit on the fence to, seeing that segment. I was a little bit on the fence with that because I'm going, nah, man, like these guys, wait a minute here. Adam Cole, who you brought in, you moved heaven and earth. You got him, you got his boys, right? And you pretty much now kind of have this hostile takeover thing that's going on. Like, the hell with the fucking trios tournament. How about getting the big payback for what Adam Cole and the UE had did to you last fucking week? How about that, right? So it's a little bit bipolar from that standpoint. Now, here's where I think it's probably going to end up being redeemable, right? I kind of feel as though even though Hangman has said no to them right now, Hangman will eventually say yes to them. And I'm going to predict that probably what we're going to be seeing in this next chapter of this respected story arc is somehow, maybe it's the Dark Order, maybe they're going up against the UE, Hangman comes out there, right? And then maybe there's a numbers game. I don't know if it's going to play out on that episode or if there's going to be carryover into the next episode, whether that be Rampage or the following Dynamite. But I can see some type of a scenario going down where, once again, the numbers game, and maybe this go round, Bucks have Hangman's back, right? They pretty much are returning the gesture from what went down last week, where Hangman had saved their ass, essentially. And then maybe, just maybe, that's where we get Hangman. Okay, you know what? You want to do this trios thing? Okay, fuck it. Let's do it. Let's fucking do it. Let's go. Right? But, that's how I'm thinking this is probably going to pan out. Now, if we're going to follow this storyline out and there's no Hangman involved in this trios tournament, then the real question becomes, all right, well, who are Bucks going to recruit for third man? Who are they potentially going to recruit? Now, my answer to that, before you guys answer that, my answer to that is going to be if he's 100%, and we talked about him earlier, if he's fully at 100% and he is ready to return to in-ring action, then Bucks, Kenny Omega. That's what I could see, right? That's what I could see ultimately go down. So I would not be surprised if Bucks on AEW program and the way they would set it up, I wouldn't be surprised if Bucks were to say something along the lines of, hey, we found ourselves a third tag partner. And you know what? We will fucking see you, right? I wouldn't be surprised if maybe they did something along those lines. Or if maybe they had a placeholder. If maybe they had a placeholder to team with them, try to go into the tournament, and then that third man gets injured somehow by the UE. Bucks are kind of scrambling, and then, hey, we found a guy. We'll see you all at the fucking pay-per-view. Kenny Omega that way, right? So it's going to be interesting to see. We'll have a better idea how everything is going to be panning out over the next 2 weeks. But some wishful thinking right there. Let me know what you guys would love to see kind of go down with that. I'm most curious. So from there, some other action that had come about from this week's Dynamite. We're on a roll so far. We're doing pretty good on Showtime here. Luchasaurus and a lickety-split squash match against Anthony Henry, who we saw in this week's, I believe, Dark Elevation. I actually had watched Dark, by the way. I was happened to be around, and I was checking it out, and I just couldn't help but, oh my God, where do I even begin? Some of the folks I actually had enjoyed seeing, but the thing that was a major turnoff was, and I just disabled it at one point, I was seeing just the amount of trolling that was going on in the YouTube chat, and I couldn't help but go, Jesus Christ, Tony Khan and crew, get a fucking mod or 2 or 3 and be on top of that shit. Seriously. You know, you could probably get more engagement, get more people to show up, interact, and all that shit if you did a better job moderating your fucking live chat. That shit was ridiculous. Let's see. From there, Jay Lethal. Oh, no. Actually, let's go back. Christian Cage, yeah. Because post-match of that Luchasaurus Anthony Henry match, Christian Cage had popped up on screen congratulating Luchasaurus. Jungle Boy just happened to be on commentary. He quickly took his headset off, ran backstage. He was looking to pound the crap out of Christian. Christian managed to escape in time as staff had intercepted Jungle Boy. Luchasaurus comes to the scene and he just starts destroying all the staff members, inadvertently attacking AEW executive Pat Buck. Sure, there's probably going to be some ramifications from that, fine and or suspension. Have to wait and see. Right after that, Miro with another classic badass fucking promo as he talked about Black putting him into the dark. Julia Hart comes from out of nowhere, out of the shadows, and she starts grabbing on his beard, and she kind of grabs it in a seductive kind of way. And I'm looking at this, I'm going, Rusev, you might want to check that girl. Like, come on now. And sure enough, as soon as I was thinking that, Rusev right on cue fucking checkmate her ass. And you know, I wish I could do his fucking voice. I mean, I could try, but you know, he pretty much has said, there's only one woman that can touch the face of the Redeemer, and it is not you. Yeah, that's a very bad Miro voice. I know. Hey, my voice ain't really 100%, but you know, he pretty much tells her, you're like, okay, yeah, Julia, you might want to go take a hike already, right? So nice. I love that shit. I can't help but wonder, when are we gonna see CJ, Miro's wife? I can't help but wonder, when are we gonna see her, if at all, pop up in AEW. I mean, there's some interesting ways you can pretty much introduce her. You know, I'm just a little bit curious there. Jay Lethal coming out. Sanjay Dutt as well. Wardlow had came out there. Somehow FTR ends up coming out there. It was just, God, this feels so fucking forced. It really, really does. Wardlow, FTR, Satnam Singh, Sanjay Dutt, Jay Lethal. All of this, it just feels so goddamn forced. Look, Lethal's been on a roll. Don't get me wrong. He's been on a roll, and I'm happy. Serious, I'm happy. But this just feels so... Really, this is the direction that we're... It goes back to what I was talking about from last week's show. You know, just go back, rewind it, check out last Wednesday's show. I had a lot to say in regards to how Satnam Singh has been booked and everything, you know, thus far. You know, it could be a lot better, and just so much of what I'm seeing right now as far as certain story arcs go, when I home in on this one particularly, this one feels just so fucking forced that it's not even funny, right? I'm trying to be excited for guys like Jay Lethal, Wardlow. I fuck with FTR, right? I definitely fuck with them. Look, I mean, it's got the right ingredients. It's not going to be a bad match. All things considered, it's definitely not going to be a bad match, but at the same time, it's like, some of these we could honestly do without. Some of these personalities we could honestly do without. That's just where I am, honestly. And your opinion may be different from mine, but you know what? It is what it is. Hey, if you guys been enjoying yourself so far, if you haven't done so already, make sure that you hit that like button. When you do that, you really help supercharge content such as this. You help make it be recommended more for others to check out. Great domino effect. Watch time too. That's another way that you guys can help out. The longer you watch, definitely helps out with the back end on the analytics and everything. Feel free to subscribe as well. That way you don't miss out on boatload of content we put out for you guys on a weekly basis. We had just got done. We got a Monday show that's out right now. If you missed the initial live broadcast of Wrestling with the Topics, which was loads fun. That was about 2 hours plus of it started off kind of warm in a good way, and then it just ended nice and hot. Seriously, it ended nice and hot. Ended with nothing but laughs. It was a great show. Most fun I've had in a good while. So check that out when you get a chance. And then don't forget, as far as next week goes, next Monday, I'm not going to be doing a post RCWR show, you know, talking wrestling and all that good stuff. Actually, next Monday, I'll be live after the series finale of Better Call Saul. So you guys that are fans of that series, and you know, you maybe want to get my thoughts and interact with me on the series finale, you know, I'm thinking we'll probably do that post show that Monday night. We'll probably do that for maybe about an hour, right? And then that Tuesday, you'll get a new Wrestling with the Topics with me and Tams. And then Wednesday, me and Julian Cannon of the Wrestling Court and the Nocturnal, we're going to be hooking up, and we're going to be doing a Better Call Saul reaction piece. And we're going to just be bouncing off of each other. So some of you guys may be saying, well, wait a minute, why do the Monday show if... Because it's going to be, by the time me and Julian get together for that Wednesday show, it's going to be two completely different, it's going to be like a totally different experience when you check out that Wednesday show compared to, because that Monday night show, that's more going to be about specifically reacting to the series finale, you know, reacting to the comments that's coming in from the fans, getting their takeaways from the series finale. Whereas the Wednesday show with me and Julian, we're going to talk about the series finale, but at the same time, we're going to focus more on the series as a whole. the whole Breaking Bad universe, the impact on American television, all things pop culture. So it's going to be more of a diverse show Wednesday compared to the Monday show, FYI for you guys. So hopefully you guys will be around. That Wednesday one, by the way, for next week, we're going to do that in the afternoon. I got to confirm, but we're going to do it around 2 in the afternoon or 3 in the afternoon of next week. Next matchup on Dynamite, Aaron Solo taking on Ricky Starks. Starks picking up the dub here. I know Powerhouse Hobbs had got approached leading up to this match by QT Marshall in the factory. QT Marshall pretty much was saying, hey, look, I can take your career to new heights. I can definitely make you a champion. What do you say? You could do no wrong partnering up with me. And Powerhouse Hobbs told QT straight up, hey, look, don't make my business your business. That's pretty much what he told him straight up, and he walked away from him. So QT wasn't really a fan of that, but somewhat at the same time, QT had tried to stick his nose into this business because post-match, I remember Nick Camarado had tried to come out there, and Ricky was just owning his fucking ass. Steel chair and all. He was owning his ass. I think QT Marshall might have had made a cameo appearance as well, and at that point, Ricky Starks just hauled ass over the barricades going into the fans to make his exit. Meanwhile, Powerhouse Hobbs looked on pretty pissed off backstage as he slammed. Yeah, pretty sure he had grabbed the TV monitor and smashed it on the ground there. Gun Club, meanwhile, the Ass Boys, Billy Gunn is chewing their fucking heads off about what went down last week on Rampage with that dumpster match, saying to them, how could you lose a match that I essentially had created? What the fuck? And at that point, Stokely Hathaway had appeared, tried to give the Young Guns his business card. Billy Gunn wasn't having any of it whatsoever. Stokely made his exit. We then find out from Billy Gunn that apparently he got his sons a match on this Friday's Rampage, as Danhausen introduces himself and pretty much says, hey, look, me and Big Beard, we're going to see you this Friday. Big Beard being Eric Redbeard. So Eric Redbeard, Danhausen teaming up to face Austin and Colton Gunn, again, for this Friday's Rampage. I'll give you guys a lot more about the card coming up for Friday's Rampage in a hot second. TBS Championship match, Jade Cargill taking on Madison Rayne. I love the hell out of Jade Cargill. I really do. I sincerely love the way. I love her big time. Very green in a few areas still. This match was sloppy in a few areas, and it's kind of sad because it started off pretty good. I gotta admit, it started off pretty good. I would say almost the first half of this Madison Rayne Jade Cargill match was good, but then the second half, I mean, it was sloppy. I saw miscues. I saw moves where, damn, that like was nowhere near a fucking pretend connection. It's like, it's one thing if just a foot or two away, but when it's like 8 feet away or some shit like that, you're going and you're supposed to sell that, right? I don't think there was ever a doubt that Jade was going to defeat Madison Rayne. I don't think that was ever right. But you're looking at this and you're going, what's the bigger story here? What are we really trying to tell here? Remember some of the criticism that I had said from last week, which was, yo, what's going on with Athena and everything? Now, I will say, how Kiera Hogan, who was sitting at fucking ringside, and she literally can look at Layla Gray as all the action is going about in the ring and everything, right? how fucking Kiera Hogan and fucking Layla Gray don't realize that pretty much the woman that's pretty much right next to them, even though she has a wig on, is Athena, is fucking beyond me. Is fucking beyond me. Maybe they were just that deep in their own world, focusing so much on the match that, right? Your guess is as good as mine. But yeah, that's all I got for you on that one. That was just never a doubt Jade was gonna lose this. There was never a doubt that she was gonna lose. You know, it was, nah, she's got this, like, hands down. This is what it was really about was, all right, you're going up against a respected in-ring veteran here and Madison Rayne for what it's worth. How well are you going to be able to hold yourself up against this girl here? And I think one of the biggest problems that I had saw from this match, besides the timing, pacing, I would also say the significant height difference within reason. Because it seemed that, and I go back and watch that match. It really helps when you go in and you watch these matches without the commentary on. You can just watch it while your TV's on mute. Because in just that first run, you're just able to notice so many little things. But I noticed particularly how Jade Cargill was having to really physically go out of her way to make sure that she was in certain spots when she needed to be. I remember at one point there was one move that really had caught my attention. I remember there was some type of a back reversal. I don't know if they were trying to set it up for a backslide pin, but if I remember right, I believe Madison had managed to do some type of I won't say a unprettier, but there was something I remember Madison was trying to do. And I just remember how Jade had to really make sure she was playing down significantly to her size and all that. And, you know, when you're not used to really playing down to a smaller person, you understand what I'm saying? The other thing that was pretty obvious in this match as well, it was obvious that Madison was the quarterback for this one. It was obvious that she was the one that was, even the referee, you know, again, watch it on mute, you know, even the referee was kind of throwing some stuff out there, trying to make sure that they let Jade know, okay, you know, this is what's getting ready to go down next and everything. So it was pretty obvious who was the quarterback here. But honestly, I looked at this match nothing more than setting up Athena. You know, and honestly, I think at this point, it could be Athena. I think Athena could be the one to finally dethrone Jade Cargill. We'll wait and see, because at this point, it's like, well, if not Jade, then who? What's next, right? But Athena came out there post-match, attacked Jade from behind. Kiera tried to get involved there. Kiera pulled Jade out of the ring, pretty much leaving the title in the ring. Athena's grabbing it, pretty much making her point. But then go to a backstage segment where we've got, it's kind of interesting when you think about it too, because we go backstage where we've got Tony, and Thunder. Sorry, we're missing the other Tony, right? We can't, we're going for the trifecta, but we don't have the other Tony. But it's revealed that Tony Storm is the new #1 contender. And that Thunder Rosa, you know, she's reacting to this, and she's like, you know what, things like this happen in the business all the time. You know, I'm really happy that you're getting this opportunity. Really, sincerely happy for you. We'll talk more about this later, right? So you're like, okay, all right, cool. Now, I sadly missed, maybe you guys can chat me and the rest of the people up, but Tony Storm got this #1 contender spot because somebody is apparently injured. I did not catch the name of the person that's injured, because when I tried to rewind it, and I really wish YouTube TV would release a updated app, because for the past month almost, now when you try to rewind live television or even something on demand on the YouTube TV app, it fucking freezes, and you unfortunately have to back out of the app completely, restart it, go back in, or you gotta reboot your TV, your smart TV, and pretty much go in that way. So it's a little unfortunate and everything. From there, that pretty much was it, though. That pretty much was it as far as, I don't know what's going on here. My phone is like, my phone's like fucking blowing up here. I don't know what's going on here. That's business. Hang on here, guys. Got a little bit of business here. Give me a second here. Give me a second. We are already working with someone with these exact same services. Try us in 3 weeks. There we go. Sorry about that. That's business. That's my side hustle, man. That's my side hustle. When it comes to my side hustle, I gotta make sure I'm on point for that one. But as far as Dynamite as a whole tonight, remember this was night 1 of 2. And it's a 2-parter because this was Quake by the Lake after all and everything. Great show overall. They gave us some really nice, good moments as far as in-ring action goes. They gave us a great, huge fucking moment, with Punk returning there. They gave us a great, strong fucking opener. They gave us a great, strong fucking closer. You can't really complain about this week's show. Quality level-wise was definitely great. As far as low point of tonight's show, honestly, low point would be, and I don't like saying this because I love both of them. I love Jade and Madison, but I honestly would have to say the lowest point was probably, actually, you know what? I'll tell you what. It's a tie. I would say the low point was Luchasaurus going up against that one guy from Dark. And then the other would be Jade and Madison. I would just have those as a tie. As far as what I could have done without this, those would be my 2. But everything else with tonight's Dynamite card, definitely pretty fucking solid. So definitely check it out when you guys get an opportunity there. What the hell is going on over there? Why are they barking? See, they're about to make me shut this door because I don't know why they're going batty all of a sudden. But for some reason they are. It is what it is. Hey, speaking of AEW Rampage for this week, and remember, if you're going to be out and about, friendly reminder, I'm on 401mania.com Friday nights, beginning at 10 p.m. Eastern. I'm providing live written coverage, ongoing coverage of Rampage. So if you're out and about, you got to deal with work, you're not really going to be in front of a computer to watch the show. Just bookmark the site, and you can just constantly refresh, get updates. And then I usually follow up about 10-15 minutes after the show is over on the site, and I provide a recap and review overall and everything. So FYI. But the way the card is looking for this Friday's Rampage, I already told you about one of the matches, or 2 of the matches I actually told you about. But check this out once again. We got Colton and Austin Gunn going up against Danhausen and Eric Redbeard. Swerve and our Glory is going to be in action. Trust Busters, Arya Davari, Parker Bordeaux, Slim J will be taking on Orange Cassidy and Best Friends. Now, I'm curious what's going to be going on there with, oh, God, who is it I'm thinking? Sonny Kiss. I'm curious what's going to be going on there with Sonny Kiss. And the reason why I'm bringing up Sonny Kiss is because also on Rampage, guys, we finally got it. I mean, we've been complaining on social media, we've been letting our voices be heard, and finally, I lost track. I think last I heard, Julian had mentioned it was like over 500-something days since last we saw Sonny Kiss on AEW TV. We're finally getting the return of Sonny Kiss. It's going to be on this Friday's Rampage. However, Sonny Kiss is going to be taking on a debuting Parker Bordeaux. So Parker Bordeaux, he's been running around with the Trust Busters, Arya Davari, and Slim J. He's been running around with those guys, and you can actually, to get yourselves a little bit caught up to speed and everything, I would definitely recommend you check out this past week's AEW Dark show that aired on Tuesday. Not Dark Elevation. Check out the Dark show. That way you can get yourselves caught up to speed and everything. But from what I remember seeing, Sonny Kiss ended up turning her back on her tag partners. I can't remember who her tag partners were in this matchup from Dark, but I just remember the whole time she was showboating. She wasn't even asking for a tag, nothing. I mean, she just pretty much was chilling in the corner, showboating to the fans, came off very disinterested in the match, was looking away physically. She was looking away from the ring. It was fucking hilarious, right? And then post-match, Arya Davari comes up to Sonny, whispering a little something in Sonny's ear, and Sonny's nodding, okay, yeah, all right. And you're going, okay, obviously some type of deal was struck here, but what exactly? So maybe part of that deal, that mystery, is being unraveled going into Friday's Rampage. In case you are new, as far as Parker Bordeaux goes, yeah, Parker Bordeaux, he's been with AEW for a couple of months now. He's mainly just been doing his thing on the YouTube shows, but he's going to be doing his debut, his big debut, this Friday, so check that out. Also, Bryan Danielson will be speaking, so that should be... Now, see, Tony Khan and crew, they kind of messed up a little bit. Because they make this announcement about Bryan Danielson, right? And then somewhere between 3, maybe 4 segments later, they tell us that on next Wednesday's Dynamite, Daniel Garcia will be facing Bryan Danielson. I just couldn't help but go, well, wait a minute here, man. Don't you think it would have made more sense to have Bryan Danielson address Daniel Garcia on Friday's Rampage? Don't you think that would have made more sense? And then that way you could easily then do whatever promoting you need to do from Friday's Rampage in setting up next Wednesday's Dynamite between Danielson Garcia. Look, it is what it is, though. But Danielson will be in the house. The new FTW champion Hook will be in the house as well. Tay Conti and Sammy Guevara, they will be in tag team action. Next week's Dynamite, we already told you about Tony Storm, or correction, Danielson and Garcia. But what was also announced from tonight and setting up next week's Dynamite, Tony Storm will be going up against Kylan King. So more matches will be announced pretty much going into the weekend. I would imagine on social media, definitely reiterated on the YouTube shows and all that, and pretty much go from there. So that's that. Also, WWE, they made the announcement that Undertaker will be bringing his one dead man show. Is going to be going down the weekend of Clash at the Castle. You heard me right. It's going to be going down the week of Clash at the Castle, that respected weekend. So you guys that are going to be in that area, it's going to happen September 2nd at the New Theater, Cardiff. So you guys are so fucking lucky. Me personally, if I could just get something with Undertaker doing a one dead man show on the East Coast, I don't care if it's New Jersey, PA, Chicago's kind of more Midwest, but if I can get something, just somewhere in this vicinity, I definitely would fucking go to it. I would definitely fucking go to it. So my friends overseas, because we've had a lot of listeners over the years, even right up to now, we've got a lot of listeners overseas. So shout out to my guys in Canada, UK, Australia, Who else? Trying to think who else. We got listenership in India as well. India is very interesting. I gotta tell you, India. I don't know if that's a result of all the Saudi shows that we have been covering over the years or what. But Saudi Arabia, when I go in and I check out the analytics, it's like, oh, okay, well this is interesting. Mexico as well. Shout out to you guys. But it always puts a smile on my face when people are able, wrestling fans particularly, are able to experience a wrestling show, especially if it's like a pay-per-view. I'm always ecstatic for them when they get to experience what we pretty much get to experience on a weekly basis, minus the pay-per-views, just the weekly shows alone, what we're able to experience, right? And it's always refreshing to see how international fans take in, okay, well, we think this is, well, what does it's always interesting because at times it could be like Bizarro World, right? So it always puts a smile on my face because, Lord knows, some of our fans, particularly that's in the UK, when they tune in to check out a live WWE pay-per-view, for example, okay, it could be 8 p.m. Eastern on the East Coast in the United States, but in the UK, it's like, I don't know, 2, 3, 4 o'clock in the fucking morning at their end. And then we got some of these guys in the UK that happen to stay up after the pay-per-view is over to come show love to post shows like mine when I'm doing a pay-per-view post show. And they're staying up just to, like, God bless you, right? So that's why I always try to do my best not to complain at times about the length of a pay-per-view, because it's like our friends overseas, they're staying up much later than us to watch these damn things. Also, congrats to WWE and A&E on their Lex Luger special, the biography on Lex Luger special. It did pretty good. I couldn't help but look at it, and when I saw the numbers, I said, wow, so you're telling me this did better than what... Let me see if I got this right. This did better than Friday's AEW Rampage, because the Lex Luger special did 586,000. You know what? Forgive me. I'm thinking about Battle of the Belts. It did better than Battle of the Belts, because Battle of the Belts, I think it did like 400. We talked about it, I think, on Monday's show. It did like 400 and, I don't know, like 37,000 or some shit like that. And you're going, wow, the Lex Luger special did 586,000 viewers. That's pretty damn good. And for WWE and A&E, that was a rebound, because the previous episode, which was about Kurt Angle, that did 406,000. So, and by the way, I had shared it on social media. Already, but I got it a day early. Let me just pull up my screen here in real time so you guys can see. But my Lex Luger book, I had got it a whole day early. I was supposed to get the book today, Wednesday, but it actually came yesterday. It was funny because I had got an email Monday night telling me that this had shipped. I'm going, oh, okay, all right, cool. So, yeah, all right, Wednesday. And when wifey came home from work yesterday, because I had a couple of classes I had took on Tuesday. I was doing them remotely, and I'm getting ready to do some stuff around the house. Wifey comes in, she's like, hey, what's up, hun? And she's like, you got some mail. I'm going, the fuck? Like, I'm not supposed to get anything until Wednesday. And I wasn't sure what the hell it was. I opened it up and like, oh my God, it came a whole day early. I'm like, okay, cool. So I can't stress it enough. If you didn't join me on Monday's show, you really owe it to yourselves to check out the Lex Luger documentary. And trust me when I say, when you do check it out, you will definitely be like me after the fact, and you will want to get a copy of Lex Luger's book. And I've heard so many great things about this book from so many people over the years, but I could never, just go back to Monday's show and I explain the reasons why, but I could never will myself to picking up the book and reading it and everything. But after I saw that A&E special on Luger, I said, wow, let me actually read up more about this man, in his own words and everything, and pretty much go from there. Shout out to Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, his wife, the production company that they have together and everything. Looks like they're going to be working with the team of Vice and Dark Side of the Ring, as they're going to be presenting a new series that's going to be premiering this fall. It is called hang on here, Tales from the Territories. Tales from the Territories. And yeah, Dwayne Johnson and his ex-wife, Danny Garcia, their $7 promotion is going to be behind this. This series will be focusing on the early days of wrestling when it was divided into territory-based promotions. It's going to make its debut on October 4th at 10 p.m. Eastern. So listen to this lineup as far as all the people that are attached to this series. So as far as like executive producer and all that shit goes, The Rock, Danny Garcia, Haram Garcia, Brian Guritz, all are going to be executive producing this, along with Evan Husney, Jason Eisner, Vanessa Case, Guillermo Garcia, Catherine White, Lee Hoffman, Chavo Guerrero Jr. I mean, you can't go wrong with that fucking lineup. So you know what? If you guys remember from the couple of interviews I had with Evan Husney, one of the producers for Dark Side of the Ring, you definitely recall I had made a hard sell for, hey, what would be a really good episode for a Dark Side? Why not cover the career of Mildred Burke? And I have told you guys passionately, time and time again, when it comes to Mildred Burke. If you saw me looking over my shoulder, I was looking for the book. There's a really great biography that tells the whole life and career of Mildred Burke in professional wrestling. That at one point, Jim Ross himself, and he was telling us this firsthand at the one-man show that he did at DC Improv many years ago now at this point. We actually reviewed it. You can find it. You should be able to find it on demand on the downloads, but if you're having problems finding the audio, you can definitely find it on the YouTube channel. Just type in Jim Ross, DC Improv, RCWR, and you'll be able to find it that way. But even he had talked about how he was trying to secure the rights because he wanted to make a biopic, a movie, possibly a miniseries about the life and career of Mildred Burke. It's a fascinating story. It's, I don't want to give anything away, but just, man, the shit that her husband was doing as a promoter and just the way he fucked her over, it was like, Jesus, right? And I remember I was telling Evan about it, and Evan was like, I remember the first conversation I had with him, he was like, really? I said, because I told him a little bit about Mildred. He was like, let me talk to the team about that. I'll definitely strongly consider that. I was like, okay, cool. And then a year later, he came back on the show, and I asked him, I said, hey, have you thought more about the Mildred Burke? You think that's something you could definitely tackle? And he was honest with me. He said, we kind of talked about it, but, to be perfectly honest with you, we don't think that would really be in alignment with the current direction of this particular series. We don't think there would be enough interest for, and yet they do something on XPW, and then what was another one like that most people, and the ratings had reflected on that. So I don't know, but to each its own. But he told me straight up, he said, maybe that would serve more for maybe a mini series or a standalone movie. He was picturing that being something not part of the Dark Side of the Ring universe. Well, now that you're doing something of a Territories, Tales from the Territories series, you definitely create more of a opportunity here where you can dip into stuff like that. So I'm rooting these guys on. I'm hoping that this fall, I gotta say, as far as this fall goes, as far as entertainment, I mean, take your pick. We're gonna have this. Walking Dead is gonna come back to finish out its last couple of episodes, right? Before they ride off into the sunset. We got a new Quantum Leap series that's gonna be premiering this fall. There's a whole lot of interesting, cool shit to look forward to this fall as far as entertainment goes. I'm pretty stoked for it. I gotta say, I'm pretty stoked for it. Let's see. Other than that, just thinking if there's anything else we should be getting into before we get ready to wrap it up here. Let me just check the social media feeds one more time, making sure we're not missing out on anything. I see Sunny Kiss is trending, and you know why Sunny Kiss is trending? Because Sunny Kiss is making her triumphant return to AEW TV. So I'm definitely right there waving that flag with you guys. By the way, special shout out to Kid Bandit. It was pretty cool, the news that had came about this week with Kid Bandit. In case you guys had missed it, Kid Bandit had pretty much took the initiative, and there was this promotion, and they were doing something really, really cool. And it was interesting because the promoter was not thrown under the bus. No disparaging remarks was said about the promoter / booker. The general consensus is that this promoter / booker, she was just way over her head, and the what she thought she underestimated when it's all said and done. Her heart was definitely in the right place. This was not one of those Steve O'Neill extreme reunion type of situations, which we documented in the past. Wasn't one of those type of situations. She was just way in over her head, and there were talents for this particular event that it was a all LGBTQ wrestling event that was supposed to go down and everything, and a lot of the talents that had appeared, they weren't compensated. So Kid Bandit had took the initiative, and pretty much out of their own pocket is kind of, at least what I'm gathering, a combination of coming out of their own pocket and then just utilizing their contacts, and they were able to get people paid. You had people that were promised, hey, we're going to cover you for your travel fare, hotel, and none of that had came to. Some people had only got a partial payment. They didn't get the rest of their money, and Kid Bandit was able to come through and fucking hook them up. And it's important that when there's like good stories like this, it's important that we put that highlight, because I feel that too many times as a society, especially when it comes to the wrestling community, we focus so much on the negatives. We don't really spend enough time talking about the positive things that's going on, especially when somebody is doing a lot of good, right? And here's a case right here where a person was doing a lot of good. So shout out to Kid Bandit. I've quickly have been finding myself becoming a fan of theirs. Keep it up, Kid Bandit. Keep it up. Also, Ric Flair had revealed on his podcast. Oh my God. Ric Flair had revealed on his podcast that apparently he passed out twice during his last match a couple of weeks ago because he was dehydrated. I can't wait to find out what Tams has to say about this, but here's what he had said. I'll share with you my thoughts, but here's what he had said to give you guys full context. I don't think people realize that I passed out twice. What happened was my regimentation for training was so strict that I kept my weight. I wanted my perfect weighty to be like 220 going in. So the last day and a half, aside from all the work that we had planned for me to do, I did not hydrate. I had it in mind that I had to weigh 219. So I went to the ring and I'm like 217 pounds. And what happened during the body of the match is I just became dehydrated. I actually, when I was standing in the apron, I looked at Jay, which started a wheel of motion. I said, man, I think I'm getting sick because I was getting lightheaded. Nothing to do with my heart or nothing to do with my intestines. I was getting lightheaded. I'm sure a lot of it was nerves as well. So I think Jay said, guys, we gotta move this along, when that isn't what I meant. But to the point when Andrade came over and said, your turn, sir. Your turn, sir. So I got in and I didn't know where we were in the match because I had missed about clearly like 10 seconds of it. He also commented on going to the outside to slow the match down. So then when I went outside, I think everybody just jumped the gun a little bit, and I saw where Booker T, who's really a close friend of mine, thought it was in bad to do this, that was strictly on the fly to get everybody to slow down. Because everybody, if you look back on it, everybody just came all together at one time. We were far from the end of the match, so I just said to myself, how do I get everybody to slow down? This wasn't anticipated, this wasn't called, I just did it. I apologize if I scared anybody, but I couldn't think of any way to reorganize because we had everybody on the floor at one time, which was never planned out like that. Then Jeff, out of respect for me, he lifted me up to the top turnbuckle, and Jay was going to give me a superplex, which would have blown the roof off the joint, but he was worried about my health. Jeff, sincerely. He said, we can't do that, Nate. We can't do it. I said, yes, I can. So rather than look awkward, I came down with him. Then Jay came in and gave me the suplex, and we were back rolling. Then at that point, along came the guitar. Right, down, bingo. Well, I was down. I passed out again. I just passed out. And Andrade is going, sir, you have to wake up. I have the brass knuckles. Sir, I don't mean to laugh, but goddamn, sir, you have to wake up. Then I woke up. That is just so, sir, you have to wake up, sir. You know, not, dad or, just pa, I like that's very respectful. I like that, sir. Then I woke up. I knew where we were and we're home, but I swear to God, twice during the match, I went completely black. And one more. As far as getting better after the match, my hand started trembling, but it was all dehydration. I had 2 doctors in there right away with me and everything, and the Undertaker came running in. I had like 6 beers there. Man, that's, you definitely, okay, hydrated and you're grabbing beer? Nah. That's not how you do it. You want to talk about hydration, then have some fucking water. But whatever. He took them out of my hand and said, "You're drinking 2 Gatorades first." Oh, Taker, I fucking love you, dude. I fucking love you. So I drank 2, and that's all it was. I underestimated the importance of keeping hydrated, which is really big, especially when I lost so much weight and trained that hard. So, from the man himself, from his respected podcast, Ric Flair, I mean, on the one hand, you just go, man, fucking respect for making sure that you're in the best shape humanly possible going into this one last match, as it's dubbed and everything. But to put yourself in a position where, I don't think any wrestler should do that. I mean, to each its own, but I just feel that unless you're being paid a boatload of money by a major Hollywood motion distributor, and you gotta, kind of like our guy from Guardians of the Galaxy. I can't think of his name right now, but the dude that plays Star-Lord, he had to lose a significant amount of fucking weight to be able to fucking do that, right? Some actors, there is a certain condition in their contract that needs to be met that'll have a weight limit, be it they need to gain X amount of weight / muscle mass by, or they need to lose, Christian Bale in The Machinist is definitely a fucking prime example of that. The role itself had called for there to be this extremely anemic, starvation looking character. Yeah, I still remember the infamous interview that Christian Bale had gave this one reporter. It was like a sit down joint, and she's like, "Oh, how did you get so skinny for that role? What type of exercising did you do?" And Christian Bale had said, "I didn't eat." And she was busting up laughing, and she goes, "No, seriously, what did you do?" And Bale looked at her, kind of cockeyed. He didn't mean mug her, but he looked at her cockeyed and dead fucking serious, like, "No, I did not eat." So I can understand, certain athletes and all, there's a certain, work regimen that, they try to put themselves in and everything, but to put yourself in that kind of position where you're forcing yourself to be dehydrated, oh man, come on. I mean, that is, you're gonna risk some serious fucking problems. I mean, knock on fucking wood. He's lucky that, just imagine that if he would have stayed hydrated. I mean, just really stop and think about that. So you're already hearing the issues going into this match about the foot, the ball of his foot. So you're already hearing that. You're already going, man, the age, and then to know that this guy had blacked out a couple of times. And it was all because of dehydration. I don't know if he's going to stay retired. I don't know. Because I've always been a firm believer in the way that Ric Flair has always struck me is everybody's got a price. And if somebody is willing to pay a certain amount, Ric Flair will probably jump on that bad boy. Hell, you guys probably had missed it, but think of the shit that had went down from over the weekend, in case y'all had missed it. I think it was with one of the senior colognes Ric Flair had did a spot with, and you're going, what the fuck is the purpose of this? Like, right? So look, I'm glad when it's all said and done he came out of it okay. That's really the most important thing that all of us cared about as wrestling fans, is that at the end of the day, he was able to walk out of that motherfucker on his own 2 feet, at his own accord, and to hear that he was living it up post-match, getting his drink on and all that, you just go, okay, well, you know what? Great. That's all we can ask for. That's fucking great. Other than that, let me just poke my head one more time. I think we're done. We did pretty good. We're at about the 1 hour. I'm seeing we're at about the 1 hour and 42 minute mark. So I think we definitely got us a show in the books on that note. But let me just one more time, just making sure that we're not missing anything as far as breaking news goes. I'm aware that the amount of money that is unaccounted for is, as far as miscellaneous expenses and all that from Vince McMahon, it looks like WWE has pretty much uncovered like another $5 million. So now Vince McMahon is pretty much damn near at about not $19 million that's unaccounted for, $20 million that's unaccounted for now. So not looking good. Not looking good for Vince McMahon. Not looking good for him whatsoever. Look, we really didn't get a chance to, so going back to earlier. So apparently Chris Statlander is out due to injury. Apparently she was the original #1 contender, but no more, as apparently it's now going to be Toni Storm. Now look, take this for what it's worth. But I remember watching AEW Dark, and Chris Statlander was in action, and she seemed just fine. So take that for what it's worth. I don't know if this is just kind of their way of just going right into it with Toni Storm and Thunder Rosa, but just kind of take what I'm saying right there for what it's worth. But yeah, I didn't get a chance to talk about this, but it's great seeing Karrion Kross Scarlett Bordeaux, it's great seeing them back in the WWE. Because when it's all said and done, look, we all could definitely be in agreement. We all have been in agreement. When we were seeing the way that Karrion Kross was being booked on the flagship shows, it left a bitter taste in our mouths. We felt for the guy. We really, because at the end of the day, we know what this man and Scarlett, we know what they're capable of. We saw them from other promotions, and we were so passionate. We were so vocal about what we were seeing happening. You know, we were almost like Marlon Brando and Godfather. My boy, what are you doing to my beautiful boy? You know, right? They were messing with our boy, and you know, for many of us, it was just okay, man. Look, if you're gonna do this to our boy, this fucking sucks. Either send him back down to NXT or cut the man loose so he can, right? Yeah, all you can do when you saw what went down on SmackDown. What a great fucking mark out moment. Number one, that was definitely a great mark out moment. Seeing him do that return and everything. What a great way to reintroduce him to the WWE universe and everything. You know, first impressions mean everything. First impressions mean fucking everything. And, you know, at this point in time, you just go, certain people, you know, Karrion Kross, Dakota Kai. I've always been on the fence about Dakota Kai, but there's something that's just quite, for me, something is missing, but even I can't deny that she's got something, right? But there's something kind of off a little bit, right? But Io Shirai, now known as Io Sky, right? You know, you're looking at them. Raquel Gonzalez, I think the moon and back of Raquel Gonzalez, Raquel Rodriguez. You know, there's just certain people that you are looking at. Samuel Shaw making his return. Dexter Lumis, you know him better as Dexter Lumis, making his return. You know, these are all Triple H pet projects and everything. And you just can't help but be very ecstatic for what's going on with some of these men and women right now. Because you're going, all right, well, with Triple H now pretty much at the helm, truly these individuals' success, yeah, okay. You felt it was the old man. Okay, well, the old man is no longer a, what is it? Not an excuse, but the old man is no longer a factor. Now let's see, right? If all you want is a fair shot, just an opportunity. All right, well, here you go. You got a nice clean slate, right? That's all you could really ask for. And I honestly feel in my heart of hearts that these men and women will definitely rise to the occasion when it's all said and done. Right? What a great fucking week we've had, though, so far. Seriously, a great week plus. Karrion Kross, Scarlett Bordeaux making their return. Right? Then you get fucking Dexter Lumis. Then you get fucking CM Punk. Friday, you got Bryan Danielson. No telling what's going to be in store for this Friday SmackDown. So, I mean, just the quality level of a lot of these shows from these promotions that we're looking at, the game is going up, and that's great. That's great. Seriously, that is great. I love seeing that extra incentive that's being put out there for quality. Because as I always tell you guys, you can have X amount of shows, you can have X amount of talents, you can focus all you want on quantity. Quality always wins every goddamn day of the week, hands down. Programming notes, that's it. We're done for the rest of the week. I will put up Thursday's Wrestling with the Topics. I'm going to put that up. That will be available for you guys to check out on demand and on the downloads. Wee hours of Thursday morning. So pretty much by the time you maybe get up for work, or if you happen to have school, I'm particularly talking about those of you that might be in college right now. Some of you guys might be doing some summer classes as well. So, you know, you go and work out go to the gym or whatever. Audio is going to be available for your on-demand listening pleasure. We'll be back with you guys for your next edition Monday night August the 15th. That will be a post-show after Better Call Saul. The series finale goes off the air. So check that out. That'll be great. And then Tuesday the 16th, New Wrestling with the Topics with me and Tams. Wednesday, 2 shows that day. Wednesday afternoon, me and Julian will be doing a special Better Call Saul retrospective episode. And that Wednesday night after Dynamite, of course, right? If you haven't done so, once again, hit that like button. Helps me out a great ton, man. Seriously, helps me out a great ton. Hit that like, subscribe, click that bell notification so you never miss out on future content that comes your way on a weekly basis. You can get at me on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram. Use the keywords, the RCWR Show. Thank you to those of you up to this point that's been hanging out with me for the whole show live. If you are checking this out for on demand and on the downloads and you're up to this point, thank you kindly for checking out the show, supporting us as always. Don't forget to also support our sponsors as well. Till next go around, wishing all of y'all to be safe. Most importantly, be kind to one another. I'll see you all next go around. Take care, and unless you have other plans, enjoy the weekend.